Allie. How are you guys doing? Well, I hope you are fantastic. I hope you are wonderful. I hope you are safe and healthy. Today, my friends, we are going to be embarking upon a retrospective of the books I ate in July, the books I consumed, and boy, did I ever. It was a bacchanalia of books. There was just a gluttonous consumption of literature, both high and low and in between, and I'm excited to talk about it. Now, a lot of these were audiobooks, ebooks. Some of them I actually have and like could be holding right now, but I don't want to because that's just a lot to juggle. That's a lot to juggle. I don't want to. I don't want to juggle that. So I am just going to, not that side, this side. I'm going to post, image. There'll be a beautiful image just floating in the ether right by my head. So without further ado, let's not waste time. There's a lot of books to get through. I think there are 20. I think there are 20 this month. Could be wrong. Starting though, we're gonna. I'm sorry. I'm like looking at the list here on my computer. Also, quick note before we get started. This is my like streaming setup. This is like where I play Animal Crossing in my office, and I would like to do this like in front of my bookshelves. Maybe that would be really nice. But for now, we just go with what's easiest, right? And better every time. We'll try to get some different setups for different kinds of videos. But for now, you just if the background, you don't like the background, just close out the video. Just listen, because I'm just going to talk about some books, starting with the new David Sedaris. We're going to start with the new David Sedaris, Happy Go Lucky. I read that on the 3rd of July, apparently. I'm just looking at like my Goodreads to see like what I have. I wish I also had my reviews. Like I have the stars, but I don't really have my notes. So we're just going to go like off the cuff. David Sedaris, Happy Go Lucky. I gave that 4 stars. I love David Sedaris. I love David Sedaris. And I think I probably gave it 4 stars, but meant like 3.75 because it was a rough one for me. It was a rough David Sedaris book for me. Primarily because he's always a little bit cynical. He's a little dark. Like that's David's brand, and that's just how, that's just the type of person he is. And that like going into it. But something about this particular collection was exceptionally dark and difficult for me. I think David and I have had to go through some similar issues, like with parents and his parents, my grandparents, and just like caring for individuals and what it feels like to, maybe feel like you're not caring as much as you would like or giving as much of yourself. And there's just a lot that was very difficult for me to read. And, there was a lot of pandemic wise. There, was, I think the first essay is called Active Shooter. So you can imagine what that's, the topic of that particular essay. So it was good. He's a wonderful writer. He knows how to tell a story. He's so intelligent. He's so funny, but I picked it up thinking it was going to be something else. I had different expectations from this particular book. Like my favorite David Sedaris story is the one where he goes to the nudist colony. That one's my favorite, I think. I love that one. I don't know why, but I just love that one. And so this was, deeper and a little darker than what I love. But still good. So I recommend it, but it just wasn't quite what I thought it would be. I went into it thinking it was one thing, and it was something else for me entirely. Okay, the next book I read on the 4th of July. Whoa, I read it all in one day too. Hey, baby, look at me. It's called We Had to Remove This Post. It was I would almost call it a novella, actually. That's probably why I read it so fast. By Hannah Bervoet. Hannah Bervoet. I believe she is Swedish. Let's check. And that's not English. I'm looking at her bio and it is not in English. So Hannah Bervoet, I like this book. this, we had to remove this post, is a story about some individuals who work at we'll just say Facebook, work at Facebook in like one of their contractor situations where they're not Facebook employees, but they're contracted by Facebook to moderate, to be a moderator of content and decide what can stay on the platform and what cannot. And this book really tackles like the human effects of being exposed day in and day out to these horrific images and videos and what it means to have to make those decisions and how that can kind of skew your own morality and just really how it affects you. I gave it 4 stars. It was good. I was super surprised after going on Goodreads to see how low it was rated. I thought it was a wonderful piece. I thought it was great. There's a very lengthy selection of works that Hannah used to craft this story. So she read a lot of nonfiction to make this as authentic as possible. And I will link, there's one particular article is very interesting. I'll link it in the description box. But very, very good. I don't know why it was ranked so low. Like maybe people were disturbed by it. Maybe it was the non-English translated version that was not received very well. I don't know, but I liked it. Next, we've got Hilda and the Bird Parade. I am on a Hilda kick, guys. I love Hilda. Every Hilda book, like, don't even worry. I'm just going to tell all 5 stars. They're all 5 stars. They're so fast. They are the fastest reads. They are so good. Hilda is so cute. I haven't watched the Netflix series yet. I've only watched the first one. But oh my gosh, these are wonderful. Like, definitely appropriate, I would say, for kids. I would say maybe like any child that's interested in them. I haven't run across anything that's inappropriate. And adults too. Like, I'm an adult who loves whimsy, and I've said this before, and I will continue to say this throughout my existence, is I love adult fiction, and I love, you know, stuff that's like critically acclaimed and like angsty and tackles tough topics, and like I can get down with that, like with the best of them. But really, my heart loves a story that has like no like plot, that just, you know, like maybe has like a little like bloop. Like, we don't need the whole plot diagram for me. I love like slice of life, like very flat, just joyous, happy pieces. And that's, I mean, in Hilda there's always some kind of problem, but it's never, you know, like the type of problems we run across in adult fiction, which can drive you like crazy, really. The next thing I read on July 5th was Homebody. I don't have a lot to say about this. I will tell you, I accidentally ordered this from Target like a couple months ago, because when I do my grocery orders, you know, if you like do the same day delivery, that appears in like one collection of items, and then like below it, it will say for shipping. And I must have thought about this book, and I loved the cover. And I thought, maybe we'll buy that. And I like put it in my Target cart and forgot about it. And then I ordered groceries, and like 5 days later, this book came in the mail, and I was like, well, I bought it. So I read it. I gave it 3 stars, and I feel like that might have been generous. One thing to know also about when I'm rating books and talking about books, just in general on this channel, is like, there's no such thing as a bad book. I'm never going to say this book was bad or this author is bad, because I don't believe that. I simply don't believe that. I think there is a person for every book, and there's a book for every person. And I was not the person this book was for. It's simple as that. There were a couple of poems I liked, but it wasn't meant for me. And that's fine. It's a cute cover. With that being said, I'll probably put it in my little library and give it away. But it is a good cover. That's what I could say about that book. Next one. After reading that poetry, I picked up a collection of poetry that I'd had for a while that I was really interested in, and it's called Household Tales of Moon and Water by Nancy Willard. 4-star read, solid 4 stars. Nancy writes about the mundane and makes it really vibrant. And the motifs of both moon and water, as told in the title, those motifs are very present. And I enjoyed myself. I really enjoyed myself. So I give that a solid 4 stars. Whoo, next book, babies. Oh, let me hang on a second. The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Ooh, I got this from Book of the Month. And I was so excited because I was like, I want to read this like floating on my paddleboard. Like, this is going to be a vibe. This is a summer thriller. I can't wait. And no spoilers. I will not spoil anything if you're still wanting to read this. I liked it. I was confused why it was getting panned by so many people because I found it to be incredibly cheesy, like super cheesy, like so predictably cheesy, but like fun. I was having fun with it. Like, I wasn't looking for, like a Sherlock Holmes or Agatha Christie style, mystery or twist or anything that was going to blow my mind. But 2/3 through the book, it got just a sharp turn. Like, I don't know if it was a right turn. It was a left turn. It was a U-turn. We went through a roundabout. Like, we had an issue. Riley started writing a different book. I think maybe he was confused. It felt, it was, I think I gave this book 2.75 stars. And that was generous because I had so much fun with the first 2/3 of the book. I had fun, but yeah, I was so mad. I'm getting like, I can feel myself getting worked up about it again. I can feel myself getting upset again. It's not next. We'll move from that to another 5-star read. Another 5-star. It's called Garlic and the Vampire by Bree Paulson. Guys, if you love Tea Dragon Society, which we all love Tea Dragon Society, and if you haven't read the Tea Dragon Society, like, go pick it up. You're going to love it. If you love the Tea Dragon Society, you are going to love Garlic and the Vampire. It's about an anthropomorphic, anxious garlic. She is the best. I love her. I love the story. It is so wholesome. There's another one coming out this year. You can bet I've already pre-ordered that. I cannot wait. 5 stars. Huge 5 stars. Okay, moving on to another short read from this month. I Am a Cat Barista, a piece of manga. So good. I saw this. I think Jordaline was doing her wrap up. I will also link Jordaline's channel down below because she's one of my favorites. She reads a lot of things that are too scary for me, probably. I find her so entertaining, and I think she is so passionate and just so funny, and I could listen to her talk about anything. So Jordaline, yes, love you. I love you, Jordaline. I love you. But I I saw I'm a Cat Barista, which was a little different than what I feel like Jordaline normally is recommending. And oh my God, it's so wholesome and beautiful. And it's basically just about this, it's about this barista, obviously, who's a cat, duh. And he like knows what you need when you come into the shop. So this shop, his beautiful coffee shop, only appears to individuals who are somehow in need. They have like some kind of, maybe it's emotional or physical or mental weariness. I think that might be the word that was used in the blurb. But yeah, it's the perfect word, weariness. These weary individuals, and he serves them a food or drink item that is meant to bring them comfort or strength, and he lends to them his compassion. He just lends compassion to these individuals, and I loved it. I gave this one 4 stars, and I'm like looking at my rating, and I'm like, girl, why'd you give it 4 stars? Like, why did you knock a star off? And maybe it was because I felt like it was done too fast, or like I wanted more, or it was like a little, like I wanted more story, maybe about, see, I don't know. It's 5 stars. 5 stars, forget it. Allie of the Past was completely wrong. Allie on July 12th, no, that was wrong. It's a 5-star read. Next book, Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. I need to start going a little faster. We have tons more books to talk about. Reckless Girls, Rachel Hawkins. It was fine. I don't know what I don't even know why I need to knock it off with book of the month. Like, I should have just got this one from the library. I will say this is not one I wish I owned. I now own it. Thank you, book of the month. It's a pretty cover. It's like so summer. Obviously, it's, an island. Basically, this book is... okay, I shouldn't say basically, supposedly. This book is meant to be a retelling of Agatha Christie, and Then There Were None. I kind of saw that. I got it. I see it. Obviously, Agatha is queen, so it's hard to retell her stories better than she would have. But this one had a great setting. Rachel Hawkins is a great author. I think she's a really good writer. I like what she writes. The story kind of fell flat for me. I gave it just a 3-star. Like, it wasn't special. Didn't feel special to me, but it wasn't awful. I didn't want to rip the pages out like I did with The House Across the Lake. That book, ugh. I'm might have to give it 2 stars. Actually, the more I sit here and digest it, I'm getting so mad that I just think I need to totally drop it down. I need to drop it down to 2 stars. Okay, next book. I don't know why I did this. Maybe I needed Riley Sager redemption. I guess that must be it. I picked up The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager next. And I think I picked it up. I was reading it audio. Did I do audio? And I think I started audio. And then whenever I start an audiobook, they go too slow. So I have to pick up the physical too and always speed through the ending because I'm an old person. I can't listen to my audiobooks on anything but one. I can't listen to anything any faster than that. So audiobooks take a while. Last Time I Lied, 4 stars. I've read, out of Riley Sager's books, I've read Home Before Dark, Lock Every Door, House Across the Lake, and Last Time I Lied. This is my favorite out of all of them. Okay, so plot-wise, about a woman, I think her name is Emma. She goes to this summer camp in the 80s. I think it's the 80s. Maybe it's the 90s. And it's this beautiful camp for girls. And she's there and she has to room with these older girls. And 2 weeks into camp, all 3 girls go missing. It's a whole thing. It affects her whole life. And she becomes an artist who will only paint pictures of those girls because they're invading her psyche. It's driving her, crazy. She's this damaged woman who then gets invited by the person who runs the camp to go back. They reopen the summer camp after it shuttered its doors after those girls went missing. And they invite Emma back to be the art teacher. And so she goes, of course. And you can imagine things ensue. But it was a good summer book. Hello, summer camp setting equals summer book. So out of all the Riley Sager books, I recommend that one. If you've never read Riley Sager, I would start with that one. And then maybe read my second favorite is Lock Every Door and then Home Before Dark. Those are all readable, at least. Okay, next book I read, July 17th, I Am a Cat Barista, Volume 2. 5 stars. 5 stars. We're going to breeze right past that because, it's just more magical, mystical cat loveliness. Oh, yes, another 5-star. I had a line. I'm looking at a just 5-star, 5-star, 5-star here. Next, we had The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. It's the first book in the Nevermore series. Hard 5 stars. I can't stop praising this book enough. I love it. It is so good. My hot take is that it's better than Harry Potter. Okay. It's just my opinion. Don't come for me. It's my opinion. Titular character Morrigan Crow is a cursed child. In this universe, cursed children only live to their 11th birthday, and then it's God, you're bye, adios, R.I.P. kind of thing. And so the night that she is meant to, that night that she's meant to die, that night this guy shows up, and his name is Jupiter North, and I'm just going to tell you, Willy Wonka. Okay, that's who I imagine Jupiter North is. So good. He's such a good character. I love Jupiter North. I love Morgan Crow. They're both wonderful characters. He shows up, he takes her away, and he says you can join this society for, just special individuals, but you got to go through like 4 really rigorous tests. And so the trials of Morrigan Crow begin. It's just so good. Like, really, I think I've just talked about this book so much. I also talk a lot about the books I'm reading in my Animal Crossing videos and on my streams when I do AC streams on Twitch. It's just like a little shameless plug if you want to come like hang out with us. We always talk about books there too. This book is so good. It's just like, I feel like Roald Dahl was so influential in the creation of this book, and primarily because Jessica Townsend writes humor the right way, which means she doesn't try to make it middle grade. It's not like she's using, curse words or like, lewd or like inappropriate things. It's not adult in that way, but it's smart. It's intelligent humor. You don't have to be a kiddo to read this. Like, kiddos can read this, but adults can absolutely enjoy this because it is a very intellectual, cerebral type of humor. And it's just like really visual. I love world building. And this is a book where Jessica goes like to the walls, right? Like she builds a world. All right, baby. It is good. I love it. I found out it was going to be a movie. It's going to be a movie. So like, woo, movie. So excited. It's going to be a musical. I'm like really unsure about a musical adaptation of this. I guess it's going to be directed by the same person who directed The Greatest Showman. I know a lot of people love that movie. I know that is like a lot of people's personality is they are The Greatest Showman. Like that's their favorite thing. So hopefully, I hope it's good. I'm going to keep an open mind. Next book. Oh my God, there's so many books to talk about. Okay. Next book. I listened to this on audio. It was like my second foray into dark academia. Maybe third. I don't know. If We Were Villains by M.L. Ria. 5 stars. 5 stars, baby. So good. Gotta listen to it on audio. The narrator read the Shakespeare beautifully. I loved the voice he did for Richard. Like, so good. Essentially, this is about a theater troupe in a very prestigious performing arts conservatory. They are the 4th year theater troupe, so this is their last year at this particular institution. And De La Cour, I believe, is the name of the institution, if I'm remembering it correctly. And the book opens with one of the troupe, Oliver, being released from prison. Yeah, it's prison, right? I'm like, what's the difference between prison and jail? It's definitely prison. Being released from prison after 10 years of confinement for a crime that he did not commit. And so the arresting officer has just one wish, and his wish is that Oliver would just tell him the truth, like what really happened that night. And so Oliver begins on this really meandering story of how he came to be the person behind bars. And it's good. It's so good. I could see how this wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea, but like, I love Shakespeare personally. I do. I love Shakespeare. I loved like seeing how the particular plays or lines that were being quoted related back to what was happening to these characters, and how like being Shakespearean actors kind of like took over their whole life. And it's good. If you have any interest in any of those things, I recommend picking it up. It's got great vibes for fall too. So that would be a great one to put on your fall TBR. Okay, next book. We'll speed past it because it's another Hilda and the Black Hound. Hilda number 4, 5 stars. Awesome. Okay, after that I read Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. This is my second Grady Hendrix book. My first was The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, right? That's the title? I think that's the title. That one was not for me. Horror Store was. I gave it 4 stars. It scared me. I had nightmares after reading this one. So as you can tell by the book cover, this is like a little bit of a IKEA story. I mean, IKEA is mentioned and it's meant to be like a knockoff IKEA store. So basically this is just like it's a haunted house story. Just haunted house story, but place it in IKEA. Put 3 employees in overnight investigating these happenings, and wow, does it go crazy? It's like a super crazy. It's a super crazy book. It's really gross. It's super graphic. Super graphic. Yeah, so I only recommend it if you have a stomach for that kind of stuff. I don't think I do, but I read it anyways. And it has one of my favorite supporting characters of all time, Ruth Ann. If you know, you know. She's amazing. Okay, I love that character. I would read a whole story about her life. Next, I listened to the audiobook for the new Margarita Montemor book, Axa Violet. What an audiobook. First of all, get the audiobook. Get the audiobook. I haven't even seen the physical book. I will buy the physical book because I love Margarita Montemor. She's an auto-buy author for me. I think she's amazing. Anything she writes is beautiful. But audiobook, because this is a podcast. It's like a true crime investigation. And there's podcasts and like there's a full voice cast. So please get the audiobook. That being said, plot-wise, this is about a 90s Gen X magician named Violet Voke who goes missing during one of her shows. And there's really nobody knows what happened to her. And so the podcast is like investigating her disappearance. And we get a lot of different perspectives on who she was and what she was like, through emails, letters, journal entries, and her sisters, just like her sister's general attitude in life. Like, so we learn a lot about how this has affected her sister, Sasha, who is just like not at all interested in learning more or doing more regarding her sister because she's been through it for 10 years already. And so it's interesting. Okay, you could hear my voice already. Like, I gave it 4 stars because I love Margarita Montemor. I didn't have a problem with like the trajectory that the story took. And I don't want to say too much because anything I say is going to be very spoilery. But it takes a trajectory. It goes places. I knocked off a star, I think primarily because I wasn't crazy about the ending. Okay, so primacy and recency, like boom, already. That wasn't great. And like, to be frank, I wasn't super crazy about the characters either. Like, I wasn't like, I don't know, like I didn't really connect with them. I don't know. Violet was like I liked learning about Violet, but Sasha drove me bonkers. I don't know if you could hear me. She drove me bonkers. Sasha drove me crazy. I did not like Sasha. And seeing as like she's a main voice in this story, that was a problem. And I'm chill with unlikable characters. Like, some of my favorite books are books about people that are hard to like, okay? But like, they usually have like a redeeming quality, or at least like funny. I don't know. Like, but there was none of that for me, at least. There was none of that for me. Now, Margarita Montemor also wrote Una Out of Order. That to me was a 5-star. I loved Una Out of Order. I don't know why I just said it so British. Una Out of Order. That's not British. What even is that? I don't know. But so good. I would definitely pick up Una Out of Order. And then Axa Violet too. And I will just kind of, what should I say? Like, I want to warn you slightly, but I don't want to ruin her books for you. It's very clear with Una Out of Order though. Like, it's about a woman who lives her life out of order. She's not sure why, but she'll live a year of her life and then she doesn't know what year she's going to end up in next on New Year's Eve. So it's got kind of like a quantum leap aspect to it, and that's kind of Marguerite Montemore. There's like, I don't want to say magical realism, but like there is a little bit of like magical realism, like a sprinkling of sci-fi, like just a little pinchy pinch in there. So if you can't suspend disbelief, I might say skip her books. But she's a great author. Love her. Next, I read You're Invited by Amanda Jayatissa. This is a missing person at a Sri Lankan wedding, and the missing person is the bride story. And, you know, we get the story told in like opposite order, and we get the story like told through interviews from the security company who's like looking for the person, like kind of like Knives Out style. Loved the setting. Really didn't like the characters. This was another one where like, man, those characters. Oh, and the I think it was page 30. I already, like, I had it figured out. Like, and that's okay. Like, I don't mind figuring out the mystery early. Like, I don't mind that if I like the characters or, you know, like, if it's fun along the way. But man, I really wanted to love this. But yeah, the setting was great. Sri Lankan weddings, super interesting. I liked the structure of the plot. Like I said, it was very Knives Out, but I had a hard time connecting with the main protagonist, Amaya. Like, yeah, it wasn't for me, but I have it. So now I own it. You know, that's how book of the month gets ya. So now I have that book. Last book. I finished the last day of July. Oh my God, guys, this has been a time. This is a Tessa Bailey. It's my second Tessa Bailey, My Killer Vacation. I gave it 4 stars. It was really good. I loved the characters. Like, unlike the other books, I really loved the characters. Like, I loved Taylor. She's a teacher on vacation. And, you know, as a former teacher, I'm like, yeah, I see you. But yeah, she's a teacher on vacation in Cape Cod, and she and her brother are in their gorgeous vacation rental, and she's getting ready to like soak in the clawfoot and have a nice time. And they run into a corpse. So now there's a murder mystery, and she ends up kind of pairing up with the bounty hunter, Miles, to like figure out the mystery. And Miles is like, you know, like 6'5" and like looks like Bigfoot, basically, is like how he's described. And Taylor is this teensy weensy, like ball of sunshine. So we've got like, you know, a sunshine grumpy trope going on. And but it's also weird. Like, I'll tell you, the weird thing is we've got like sunshine grumpy, and we've also got like insta love somehow at the same time. So I don't know. I think out of all the Tessas I've read, I've only read 2. I've read this one and Window Shopping. I liked Window Shopping more. I will say 2 things. Beware. This is a very adult mystery, like super adult, like very, very, very spicy. So if you don't like that, or you're not old enough for that, do not read this. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2, if you're picking this up because you're like, it's a murder mystery. I love mysteries. Do not. You will find a better mystery if you just turn on Scooby-Doo. Like, this is not a good mystery. I'm sorry, Tessa Bailey. It was not a good mystery. It was not a good mystery. It was a terrible mystery. But somehow I still loved it. So if you're looking for a mystery, don't pick up this mystery. If you don't like spicy books, do not pick up this book. But otherwise, it's great. Yay. And that's my list. Guys, I need a sip. I need some kombucha, please. And thank you. That is what I read this month. Wow. That was a lot. I read a lot. I love it. I want to know what the best book you read this month was. If I had to pick, let's do it. Can we pick top 3? What were our top 3 books? Trials of Morrigan Crow, hands down. Garlic and the Vampire, hands down. If We Were Villains, Those are my top 3. If I could only reread 3 of those. Ooh, that's hard though, because I want to reread my. That's hard. That's hard. Good thing is we don't have to stick to that. We can read whatever we want, whenever we want. All right, friends. That is all. That is all I have for you today. Whoo! I'm going to take a break. I'm going to sit here for about 3.5 seconds, and then I'm going to film my TBR. Like right now, I'm looking at piles of books I want to tell you about. Piles. Literal piles. I can't wait to tell you. All right. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, week, month, life. All of them. All of them. Take care of yourself. Read something just for you if you like to read, or listen to something, or watch something, or do nothing, but do something for yourself. Take care of yourself. I love you. I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.